This is Ikorabasi. Ikorabasi in Akwa Ibom State, Nigeria. And this is the Ikorabasi Women War Memorial. The War Memorial that is built in commemoration of the women that lost their lives in 1929 during the About what happened. Now, this incident happened on the 16th of December 1929. The Opobo divisional officer ordered warrant officers and soldiers in the Opobo division in Ikorabasi to open fire on 300 market women that were protesting naked on the streets of Ikorabasi. And this happened in 1929. And the women were protesting against taxation. And what happened? The Opobo divisional officer, the ordered recorded massacre, took place in Ikorabasi. That is Ikorabasi in 1929. What you hear as Aba Women Riot actually climaxed in Ikorabasi. And this is the war memorial in remembrance of that day. You may have been hearing that Aba Women's Riot was violent at some point. It was a massacre, but it did not take place. The massacre did not take place in Aba. The real pressure, the real battle did not take place in Aba. It took place in Ikorabasi. It took place in Ikorabasi in 1929.
To open fire. The captain who commanded the troops was the first to fire. He brought out his pistol and shot the leader of the women at point blank range. She died on the spot. The other soldiers fired their rifles straight at the women, and 25 women were killed outright. Sadly, more women were killed in the stampede that followed.
And this is the entrance to the war memorial. This is the entrance to the war memorial. This is the entrance to the war memorial. Been knocking and knocking. I didn't see anybody inside. This was built on the 7th of March 2015. So this is the war memorial. And I came in here, I didn't see anybody. I'm checking again. I'm checking again. That's the statue in remembrance of the women.
Whilst the introduction of direct taxation in 1929 was resented by all, it was the women who were adamant that they were not going to pay any such taxes to the British government. The first of the protests erupted in Oloko. Oloko is a community in Owerri province, and this first protest happened on the 23rd of November 1929. It spread quickly to Aba and certain parts of Calabar province. But it was in a community called Egwanga, now known as Ikorabasi, that the protests witnessed its worst massacre. In the afternoon of
the war memorial has a hall. As the entrance to the hall, I've knocked. I didn't see anybody. This is the statue erected in remembrance of the women that lost their lives. Nice artwork. The battle happened in 1929.
In the afternoon of Sunday, December 15, 1929, the angry women destroyed the buildings of the native court and part of the staff quarters. The next day, being Monday, December 16, the women were invited to meet with the district officer, Mr. A.R. Whitman. Though some of the women were reluctant to go, their leader convinced them and told them that it was only through engagement that they could achieve their demands. The women met with Mr. Whitman and presented him with a list of 7 demands. The most prominent was a commitment from the government not to tax women. Just after the document had been typed, signed, and distributed, more women arrived and the crowd surged towards the office, breaking through the stick fence. Even though the women were unarmed, Mr. Whitman lost his nerve and ordered the soldiers to open fire. The captain who commanded the...
Since then, the women have always been remembered. The statue shows a warrant officer being confronted by a woman, and that was during the battle. You can see the woman grabbed the warrant officer's rifle, broke it, and stepped on the man. That's a sign of victory for the Ikorabasi women that fought the war, laid down their lives.
This incident sent shockwaves across the community. People wondered, how could unarmed women be shot just like that, leading to a cold-blooded massacre? But at the end, the protests achieved a good result, though at the expense of innocent women. This Ikorabasi Women's War had tremendous impact on the subsequent development of women in the region and on the colonial administration itself. It led to a number of administrative reforms that favored the entire region.
So guys, I'm still at the War Memorial, and this is the statue of the women that lost their lives. That's the statue, and that is the memorial in memory of the women that lost their lives. I'm presently in Ikorabasi at the War Memorial. I'm presently at Ikorabasi at the War Memorial, and this is the statue that represents the struggle that the women of Ikorabasi had in 1929. This is a story of bravery, blood, and massacre. All along, we've been hearing that women were killed in Aba in 1929. It actually happened in Ikorabasi, and the women that lost their lives were people from Ikorabasi, and that happened on the streets of Ikorabasi. Now I'm making this video in commemoration of that day. Every 16th of December is remembered in celebration or commemoration of the women that lost their lives. But just note that this incident happened in Ikorabasi, not Aba. So guys, this is not how tourism will grow in Nigeria. Such a big place. I couldn't gain access into the gallery because there is nobody in this building. I just went around, asked questions outside. I had to do some recording, but the gallery where I'm supposed to see some pictures is actually inside there, but I couldn't gain access. Nobody here. And this is Ikorabasi Women War Memorial, where you have facts, pictures, memories of Ikorabasi Women's War. That was the climax of the Aba Women's War of 1929. The recorded pressure, the highest level of the pressure of confrontations took place in Ikorabasi back then. But because this area back then in 1929 was still under Aba division, so this place, so the story was mistaken that the protest here took place in Aba. They call it Aba Women's Riot. Yes, part of the protest actually happened in Aba, but the real protest, the one where women laid down their lives, took place in Ikorabasi. And this was erected in remembrance of the women that lost their lives in 1929.